Good morning. It was a great opening talk, and I must say that, traveling 24 hours to get to Long Beach and coming from Stockholm, and it's a great pleasure to be the first one to kick up this talk. 2 years ago, we received an award, Innovation Award from OIS, and I'm very happy to be sharing some data with you. And I want to take you in an entirely different mindset. You just heard about cell transplant, gene therapy. I want you to think differently. And I will tell you about a molecule which we're trying to advance to preserve vision. So I will give you a talk on Annexin Pharmaceuticals. And the company is, as I mentioned before, so we're a tiny company based in Stockholm, Sweden. And we are in a clinical stage. And we act in two very different areas. It's ophthalmology and oncology. We are leveraging science from Karolinska Institute and many others. And when I told you about changing your mindset, we are advancing a recombinant human protein. And recombinant human protein, which I will tell you more about, is giving us by evolution. And it's a very significant piece of information. So it would be first-in-class biologic with potential for something we're all looking for disease-modifying novel mechanisms in retinal vascular diseases. And the only reason why we're all looking for this kind of novel therapies is to improve the disease outcome, long-term outcomes, and by that reduce the treatment burden for the patients. So we have chosen a rather, I think, underserved indications. It's a retinal vein occlusion. And we have completed our proof of concept study in the United States, and now we're expanding, as I speak, hopefully within a few weeks, into a non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy. So the reason why we are determined to take it further in ophthalmology, and there are different pilots and reasons for that. Novel mechanism of action is one of those, because we do try to change the way we approach the retinal vascular diseases. Not incremental improvements, but really fundamentally stop progression and chronicity. How we do that is by basically giving the retina, all different cells and retina vessels, ability to repair and protect the cell membranes. And if we succeed, it might really become a paradigm shift in treating these diseases. When I say so, it used to be a promise even 2 years ago. Now we do have the first clinical data. The NXV, the protein, is well tolerated in different patient population and healthy. And I will share with you also how amazingly the data might look if things work. Strategic opportunity, that's all for the business development. RVO is an important indication also from commercial point of view, and we do have milestones which are coming up in the near time. So the important thing is INXV is a protein, and when you look at all different studies out there, I don't know any molecule which has been proposed to treat anything and everything. You would think it's a magic bullet, but it's not. But if you think about and look at all the potential indications, reducing infarct, preventing ischemia reperfusion, amyloid, all different things. And the reason why it is the case is because annexin A5 is something which evolutionarily follows us from the single cell organism. It's a chaperone of every single cell membrane. And as soon as there is a stress reaction, any type of damage, we do need this tool to come there, repair and prevent and repair and make our cells function as they should. So when we inject it, it has another property. It is a homing molecule. So when we administer it systemically, it's supposed to find the cells in the retina or anywhere else and sites of membrane damage. It finds them, it binds and builds a shield. Some people call it a band-aid shield. And it starts a cascade of repair reaction and stop initiation of downstream signaling. What does it mean for retinal vascular diseases? When you look at the hypoxia and the whole signaling cascade, you recognize VEGF, you recognize Ang2. What we try to do by giving annexin to people with RVO is stop multiple triggers of hypoxia. And by that, it's changing the chronicity of disease and improving the outcome. So, very simply, the data has been on the trial in RVO presented by Michael Singer at CTS in Las Vegas last month. So that is a very little tiny trial, open label, and at escalation, 16 patients. They receive a single course of Annexin, and they were all treatment naive, quite ischemic patients, over 50%. The drug was still safely tolerated. We have seen a dramatic reduction of anti-VEGF use, rapid durable effects, and also, of course, the clinical improvements, but also signals of effect. I will show one thing. When I say that disease modifying, what I want to see is improvement in perfusion, in retinal perfusion. So here's an example of a patient who come in, and you see the perfusion density on OCTA. That's basically blood flow in a depth and a deep vascular complex of the retina. The green one represents over the time blood flow in a non-study eye, but in the blue one, if you look at this, you see a dramatic decrease in perfusion, that is, say, ischemia in retina prior to treatment. After 1 day of treating with INX-V, we see an immediate restoration of the blood flow, which is not only rapid, but also durable over time. This is the patients which never required anti-VEGF throughout the study. So that is just a beautiful example how the tools and the hope of a mode of action can change the way we treat these diseases. So in reduction of anti-VEGF dependency was also very impressive. We have seen patients, as I say, which were anticipated to be receiving the anti-VEGF, at least monthly, but we have seen patients, even after the study, up to 30 months being stable from their visual gains, never rebound in edema after single Annexin treatment. And visual acuity outcomes I will show you very shortly. There are some, none of them lost vision, and main gains we have seen in those who were ischemic at presentation. CST, something which you're aware of, and I think it's a different type of innovation, basically harnessing the tools of evolution and seeing something which you haven't seen before. So thank you very much for listening.